Jared here again, aka the Laughing Man. So today I wasn't going to do another video, but I just finished up shooting for the other video, and since I do have my new brake lines here, I went ahead and got some Moto customized brake lines. So these are a yellow and blue with white tag, kit type 3F. I was building BILT Station 1, order IDs on here. So they did a really good job of making you know that these were custom made for your bike. Looks like we got some instructions in here. These do take a little bit to ship, so it took probably about 2 weeks for these to get here after I ordered them. I thought I ordered the kit that came with the front and the rear brakes, but I think when I think back about it, pretty sure I just ordered just the front brakes. So we're going to go ahead and do these, and I will place the order for the rear brakes later. So that being said, it should be relatively straightforward. So again, I got my standard Icon toolkit with a couple of the little, cheap sockets. It should be more than what I need for this, but you will see here that because this bike has ABS, there's a little sensor and everything in there. It's dual brakes, so there's a crossover and then up to the master cylinder. I don't know if they gave me another master cylinder, braided master cylinder. That might be the only kind of weak spot, is I might not change, or this part here might not get changed out, but the rest of this should all be in the kit, and we'll see what we have left in the kit. So that's going to be a little bit more difficult than something like this Buell here, where I just have one massive caliper brake line straight up to the master cylinder. So a little bit more difficult, but should still be relatively easy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove one of the lower hoses and just drain out all of this fluid out of the master cylinder. If you've got like a turkey baster or something like that, you can just suck out the majority of it there. But I do have new fluid to replace it, so let's go ahead and get this out of here. So normally I would replace my brake fluid with some of this Penson .4. I use it for my clutch and my brakes on my bikes. This has been open for a while, so this stuff here is hydroscopic. Or all brake fluids are hydroscopic, which means if it's been open for a while, it actually absorbs water. So this stuff, because it's been open for a while, most likely bad. So I'm just going to use this as a catch can to grab as much of the brake fluid as possible. Also, I've got some brake cleaner, so anywhere you get brake fluid on, make sure to spray it off with something like brake cleaner or something like that. This stuff will eat through clear coats, paint, everything that touches. It'll pretty much take it back down to bare metal. So brake fluids are pretty nasty stuff. So just make sure to clean up after yourself. You don't let it sit for too long. Alright, so because I want to be a pain in the ass, this little clip here looks like it's held on with the reflector bracket. So we'll have to remember that when we go to put it back on, to run it through the reflector bracket again. Alright, reflector bracket, or reflector and screw. There's a little bracket here. Give it a little bit of a bend. So this kit does come with new crush washers and bolts, so you shouldn't have to worry too terribly much about this. Okay, because these are your brakes, these are going to be on here quite tight. And you see it leaking all over my wheel there. I'm going to want to get all that off of there. Don't want to let it just sit there. Leave the cap on, and it'll just kind of have a little bit of a drizzle there, a little dripping. We're going to have to bleed all the brakes when we're done anyways. But if you take the cap off on the reservoir beforehand, it'll just pour out. So let's go ahead and open that up and get this off of here. Alright, so now that is mostly empty, I'm going to go ahead and start removing my lines and all the clips. There's a bunch of them, which is going to be kind of a pain in the butt, but we'll get all those out of there real quick. And I'm just going to remove all the lines, then we will go ahead and start from the bottom up and install all new lines. Alright guys, and just for a heads up on these little clips here like this, all these is little ratchets. So this one was easy to get because it's from the right side. This is going to be a little bit hard because it's from the left side, but still pretty easy to get here. So I can just do this one-handed. But all they are is you just kind of squeeze them together and pop up on it. Of course, not any frame here, but I'm going to need to use two hands because you kind of have to squeeze them together first to get the pressure off those teeth. But yeah, all they are is just little pop-ups. So don't worry about those. Those are pretty easy. Yeah. Alright, so just finished the only hard part of this whole process. Let's see here if I can find out where I'm at here. Alright, so all your brake lines come up into these little mixing blocks for your ABS, like this. The only hard part is there's these two hard lines up here that connect into it. So go ahead and get that out first before you take off the bracket. Pain in the ass when the bracket's off there to try to hold it steady, but I got them. So now this is all ready to come off. There's just one more, I think it's 10mm bolt holding this piece on into the bracket. Other than that, this is all ready to come off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here in a second. And went ahead and looked at these lines here. So this kit does come with the new mixing blocks. So these ones thread on from the sides, so I'll have to put those on before I put it up into the system. Doesn't look like it matters if it's left or right, so I'll install that. Here is the one that goes to the master cylinder. So, oop, drop my brand new block. The other cool thing about this kit though is it comes with the rubber mounts, so you don't have to salvage the other rubbers. So I'm going to go ahead and get these put on here real quick, and we'll go ahead and get some fluid in here and check for leaks. Alright guys, so here we are, finally done. Got the new core Moto steel brake lines installed. Absolutely love how it looks. Like I said, I went with this yellow and blue anodized two-tone. To give a little bit extra color pop to the bike. I'm planning on getting some additional wrap and stuff on here just to make it look a little bit more unique. So the brake lines themselves are really easy to install. They do come in 3 separate parts, or 3 separate lines. They're all disconnected. It's got the, I don't know if you call them portioning blocks or mixing blocks, but the blocks that the ABS goes to. So you got to get all that in there. You remove the old ones that were in there. These do not attach to the stock blocks. So get that on there. And then the biggest pain in the ass is bleeding the brakes. So because this is going to be a full, from the top to the bottom, all new fluids in the lines, it's not as quick as just doing your normal brakes. So you have to the easiest way would be to do from a bottom up flush, or where you bleed it from the bottom and go all the way up to the top. Goes a little bit quicker, but at the very least, doing it is going to take a while. I recommend just getting yourself a vacuum bleeder. Just hook it up. So this one's mine here. So all you do is just put your hose from your air compressor onto there, attach that to the bleeding nipples. So remember to always start with the line the furthest from your master cylinder. So that's going to be from when you're sitting on the bike, it's going to be the left one. From here it's the right caliper. So you're just going to start from that one, move over to the left one, and then with this bike, with the Brembos, you're also going to have a bleed up here. So if you're still having squishy brakes, check that one, make sure that that's good to go. And then, you know, your brake lever should not be touching all the way to the back. So if it's going all the way back, you got a squishy brake and you need to keep bleeding it. Like I said, it took a while to get it all done. But when it's all good to go, like I said, that's how much fluid I had to pull through the whole thing just to get it done. But it's done. Like I said, I really like how it turned out. I think the yellow and blue kind of add some pop to it. Of course, I've got these little white and black Moto tags on there. So it comes with all of the little rubber grommets and stuff for the proper mounting. So all you're doing is just putting it right where all the stock ones were, and it's good to go. Alright guys, so that is Alright guys, so that is exhaust, that is oil, that is turn signals, that is brake lines for the front. Alright guys, so that is brake lines, exhaust. I haven't done the air yet, so I'll do the air next. And then a tune, but now I've got the bags on there. So it's easier to haul stuff. I don't need my backpack with me all the time anymore. If you guys can think of anything else, the only other thing that I have to do that I can think of, I've got 2 more things. Well, 3. Nope, 4. I'm lying to you guys. 4 more things I need to get done to this bike. Rear brake lines, because I apparently forgot to order the rear brake lines with this. A comfort seat, so my ass is not as upset with me on 2+ hour rides. The air cleaner. Find something that's a little bit more open. And then a tune. So, but just with the exhaust and the mid pipe, you already got a ton of extra power that this bike didn't have before. I do have got a small accident, bent up my radiator a little bit, so I'll get that fixed, get my new replacement light on there. Then I think we're good to go. If you guys can think of anything else that this bike could possibly use other than just straight up cosmetics, put them in the discussion below, and I'd love to see what you guys think. Like I said, this bike, I don't think this bike will ever be done. I don't plan on getting rid of this bike. You know, it's just a good all-arounder, has lots of power, and now it's a good cruiser. So this is truly a so this is now truly a ST. So this is an MT10 ST. You know, I got a real sport touring bike now. You know, it's so far it's been great, and I absolutely love it. So again, if you guys have any suggestions or comments, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks.